This remarkable piece of work revolves around the story of Andy and her team of immortal soldiers, who are sent to a rescue mission that turns their lives upside down. On their way to avenge the one who was trapped, the team learns about the new immortal and decides to help her. Who is Andy and the new immortal? What is the mission? And how their lives are affected after the mission? Let's get into the video to get all these answers. Hello, and welcome to I Am Movies. The movie opens with a team of immortals lying dead on the ground, and one of them, Andy, narrates that she has been like this many times, hoping that it will be the last one for her. But she always ends up with the same answer.
And each time the same answer.
The movie proceeds to Morocco, where Andy meets her mate, Booker, and learns that they have been approached by the same person from the CIA, whom they have already worked for. But Andy replies that they never repeat their clients. However, Booker convinces her and reveals that their other fellows, Nikki and Joe, are waiting for them at the hotel. Andy and Booker arrive at the hotel and reunite with Nikki and Joe. They are very happy to be together after a long time, and Nikki gives a piece of sandwich to Andy as a gift. Booker bets and wins the money when Andy guesses what the sandwich is made of. Andy then gets sad, stating that the world has changed. Doing something good will mean nothing.
Some good means nothing.
And they have not been helpful for a while. She agrees to see the man from the CIA, Copley, for their next mission. The next day, Booker and Andy meet Copley, who tells them he has been unable to join the CIA since his wife died. After that, Copley reveals the mission and informs Andy that a group of 17 children has been abducted from the school by militia. The youngest of the hostages is 8 years old, while the eldest is 13 years. He shows them all the information about the kids' location and adds that they are supposed to be transferred to another location within a few days, so they must hurry. Andy looks at all the data and leaves, stating that after the completion of the mission, they will send invoices for the cash. Afterward, Andy and her team arrive in South Sudan for their mission and take out all the guards, one by one, guarding the field of their operation. Eventually, they arrive where the kids were supposed to be, but unfortunately, they are set up and killed by many CIA soldiers already waiting for them. An officer checks the bodies and announces them dead, and they get busy talking to each other. Andy and her friends recover from their injuries and wake up. They kill everyone brutally, and Andy realizes that Copley has tricked them, and he gets scared of them after witnessing the miracle. Andy is mad at Copley and orders her friends to find him.
We have to find Copley.
The scene shifts to Afghanistan, where a girl named Nile distributes candy among the kids. Soon she is ordered to find a man and leads her team to the targeted location. Nile talks to the local ladies and inquires about her target, and secretly they direct her to his location. As Nile and her team break into the room, the man attacks her and gets shot. She tries to help the man, as he is needed alive, but the man cuts her throat, and she dies miserably in her friend's arms. At the same time, Andy and her friends get the visuals of what happened to the Nile, and Andy wishes it would have never happened. They all recall what they saw in their dream, and Andy states that the girl belongs to a U.S. Marine and is in Afghanistan. She orders her friends to find Copley while she goes to find Nile and rescue her.
We stick to the plan, we find Copley.
Nile's friends, Dizzy and Jay, visit her and are stunned to see that she is fine because Dizzy was with her when she died. They feel strange about Nile because she is supposed to be dead. The scene shifts to Merrick Pharma and the CEO. Merrick presents how their pharmaceutical industry has found the cure for dementia and added a few more years to human life. He asks his audience for investments and appreciates Dr. Kozak for her dedication. Copley is at his presentation, and after Merrick gets free, he shows him the video of Andy and his team, hoping he will use their DNA to improve humanity. Merrick and Kozak are stunned to see them, and Merrick insists on catching Andy and his team while Copley warns them that they are highly skilled.
These are extraordinary individuals.
Merrick does not care about them and orders his security in charge, Keen, to do the job for them. Meanwhile, Nile is ordered to pack her belongings from the base and leave for Germany. Even her friends are not happy to see her. She sits sadly when two officers approach her, asking her to enter the plane. Suddenly, Andy appears and rescues her. After a while, Nile awakens inside the car and attempts to leave, but Andy shoots her in the head and waits for her to heal. After a while, Nile awakens, gets mad at her for shooting her in the head, and is confused. Andy tells her if she needs the answers, she can join her, and she leads her to the plane waiting for them. Andy tries to calm Nile inside the plane, but she smartly stabs her, and after Andy heals, She contacts Booker and informs him that the girl has potential as she has stabbed her.
She stabbed me, so I think she has potential.
Booker disconnects, revealing that he is trying to find Copley yet. After that, Andy falls asleep in the plane, and Nile binds her hands and holds the pilot at gunpoint. She orders the pilot to land immediately, but Andy directs the pilot to play dead. She convinces Nile to open her hands, as she knows how to fly the plane. As Nile opens her mouth, the duo fights, and Andy overpowers and calms her after giving her an idea about her powers. Soon they arrive at Gusainville, and Andy introduces Nile to her team. They're having dinner when Nile asks a few questions and learns that Booker is the youngest in Andy's team and was found in 1812, while Andy is the oldest. Nile is thrilled to learn that they never die, but Andy tells her that one of them died and that there is a certain time in their lives when their wounds stop healing.
One day your wounds just don't heal up anymore.
They don't know why or when it happens. Nikki then leads her to the bed, stating she must be tired. Nile sleeps for a while, but she awakens scared. When asked, she states that she dreamt of a girl under the ocean who has been alive and dead many times, and she can feel her pain and rage. Nikki tells her the girl's name is Quinn, and she is the first immortal Andy found. Before Joe and Nikki, Andy spent time with her, and they fought many battles together. Moreover, he adds that Quinn was a fierce warrior. One day they rescued heretics from Witchcraft, where they were captured and hanged multiple times. Eventually the priests decided to separate them, and instead of burning them alive, the duo was separated when Quinn was locked inside a steel coffin and thrown into the ocean. It has been 500 years since she has been suffering under the water.
500 years in a box.
And Andy tried her best to find her, but in vain. Nile gets sad and leaves while Andy accompanies her. Nile is arguing with Andy when Keen's men attack their safe house. Andy rushes to the house and finds Booker severely injured. Soon, he awakens and reveals that Joe and Nikki have been captured. Andy leaves, ordering Booker and Nile to wait for her signal. She confronts and kills Keen's men in the church, making them run away. Nile spots all the dead bodies Andy laid out on her way out and gets frightened. In the meantime, Joe and Nikki are with Keen's men when they try to threaten them and question them about their relationship. Joe replies to what Nikki means to them.
This man is more to me than you can dream.
And the duo kisses each other. When Copley and Keen find them, all of the guards taking care of them are down, and they are led into the plane. The next day, Booker and Andy lead Nile to an abandoned mine where Andy stores her stuff, and she is astonished to see many antiques. After a while, Joe and Nile are presented in front of Merrick, who gets hit in the face when he tries to explain how he uses medicine for profit. Merrick gathers his senses and stabs Joe multiple times to be sure of what he saw in the video, and he is taken aback to see the miracle in front of his eyes when Nikki recovers within seconds. He orders his team to take the duo away and claims to have the right to use their DNA for the betterment of mankind. Next, Nile sits with Booker and tells him she has family who must be worried about her. Booker makes her understand that her family members will die one by one, and if her secret is revealed,
they would get to learn your secret.
they will beg her to share it with them, but she will fail to explain anything, and they will die of pain and hatred for her. At the same time, Andy looks at her wound and realizes that she is losing immortality. She leaves the mine silently and reaches a supermarket. The shopkeeper senses something's wrong with her, and upon asking for a washroom, the lady agrees to help Andy. She covers Andy's wound, proclaiming that she hopes Andy will help someone in their hour of need, as they are not meant to be alone in this world. Andy leaves the supermarket and recalls when she lost her warrior, Lycon. After that, Andy meets Nile outside the cave and returns her phone for a while. Andy looks at her parents' picture, and when asked, she reveals that her father died on duty when she was 11 years old.
Killed in action when I was 11.
She also tells of her mother's difficulties, and Andy states that she doesn't remember her mother as she has been through a lot. She states that her team is her family, and she will do whatever it takes to protect them. The following day, Andy, Booker, and Nile arrive at Copley's house, and before they may enter, Nile leaves, stating that she does not want to be like Andy. Andy gets sad but allows her to walk away after she enters the house with Booker. Nile travels for a while, and after checking the gun, she realizes that Andy has been led to a trap. At the same time, Andy gets shot by Booker when she finds and questions Copley about Joe and Nikki. When asked, Booker reveals that he thinks Merrick can find a cure for them if he gets what he needs. Soon, they realize that Andy is not immortal anymore, and before they can help her, Merrick and his men arrive and capture Andy and Booker. Despite knowing that Andy is not immortal, Merrick takes her away, and when Copley tries to resist, he gets knocked out. Andy and Booker are taken to the lab with Joe and Nikki, when Booker admits his mistake of shooting and setting up Andy. He tells Joe and Nikki that she is not healing.
She's not healing.
At this point, Nikki tells Merrick that they are not immortal. It is not just their time to die yet, and when their time comes, they die like others, and his time is also approaching. On the other hand, Nile arrives at Copley's house, and he reveals everything to her. He tells her that Andy has been helping people for a long time, and every man she has saved has proven fruitful for humanity after a few generations.
2-3 generations later, we reap the benefits.
He tells her he teamed up with Merrick, thinking he would help him end his sufferings, as his wife suffered a lot before she died. After that, Copley leads Nile to Merrick's lab, and when he insists on leading her, Nile stops him and asks him to get somewhere safe. After getting a few shots, Nile enters the facility and pretends to be dead. Then she kills all the guards, and after a little struggle, she makes her way to the lab and meets her friends. She rescues Andy by making her recall her promise about protecting her friends.
You made a promise.
Booker is sad about what he did, but Andy tells him to come with them now, and they fight as a team. Andy and her team kill Merrick's men as one until Keen separates them. Keen fights Joe and Nikki and shoots Nikki in the head, which infuriates Joe. Booker and Nile protect Andy. She fights a guard and learns from him that Merrick is inside the penthouse. Andy and her team work strategically to knock out Keen and his team, protecting Merrick. Andy and Nile are left alone in the penthouse, while others leave to follow Merrick, thinking he has left the building. Soon, Merrick appears, pointing a gun at Andy, and asks Nile to step back, otherwise he will kill her.
I will kill her.
Andy tricks him and gets a chance to attack him with her axe, after which Nile jumps down the building with Merrick and kills him. After that, Nile recovers and Andy and her team leave. In the following scene, Nile and Booker are seen at the ocean when Nile gets her phone back and reveals that Copley will take care of her family and create fake news of her death, while Booker seems worried about the decision Andy, Joe, and Nikki are making for him. Booker stands alone when Andy approaches him and tells him that he has been dropped from the team for 100 years.
100 years from today, they'll meet you here.
And that they will meet again after his punishment. Booker then hugs her, stating that he knows they are not going to meet after 100 years, and leaves. Andy and her team approach Copley, and after learning that his intentions are pure, they add him to his team and assign him to clear their footsteps and find perfect jobs for them. Copley takes the job, and the movie proceeds 6 months later. Booker is very upset after losing his friends, and as he enters his apartment, he is thrilled to find Cooney in front of her, and the movie ends when she claims that she is happy to see him. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button for more. Thanks for watching, and see you at the next one.